Well, hello everyone, this is Hoyt Sunday, and today I'm going to show you how I built two flag boxes for a budget for under $60. Starting out with, we had to come up with a plan. Most average flags are 24 inches wide, 12 inches height in the center, which gives you your side angles of 16 3/4 inches. So using those measurements is where I come up with my plan. First thing I'm going to do is take a piece of 1x8 poplar wood, which you can buy at a hardware store for under $30, and I'm going to rip 3 1/4 inches off of one side of the board. That's going to leave me a factory edge on each side, and the other half of that board is going to leave me 3 7/8 inch piece that I'll use for a base later. For the next step of the process, I'm taking the piece of wood we ripped down to 3 1/4 inches, and I'm going to carry it over to my chop saw, and I'm going to cut me a 45-degree angle on each end, making it 18 1/8 inches total length from the long point of each side of our 45-degree angle. These two pieces are going to make the top portion of our triangle that we're going to attach to the base. I'm now going to take the other piece of the board that we ripped down, which is 3 7/8 inches wide, and I'm going to cut me a piece of board 28 3/4 inches long. This is going to make the base that we're going to attach the two angles to. I'm going to leave this square on both ends. We don't want any angles on this part yet. Now moving back over to the table saw with the two pieces that we cut for the top of the triangle. These boards are 3 1/4 inches wide, 18 1/8 long with a 45-degree angle on each end. Now I'm going to lay the short side of the board down with the long side facing up towards me. I also have the factory edge against my guide. I have my table saw preset 1/4 inch from the blade to the guide. I also have the height of the saw blade set at 1/4 inch. So this is going to give me a slot to put the glass in. Unfortunately, using an 1/8 inch DSB glass, the thickness of my saw blade wasn't quite enough. So what I'm having to do is adjust my guide over just a hair off the line to where I can get a second pass through there to open that gap up just a little wider. It's not quite two full cuts, but it's like a cut and a half. And that ended up being perfect for that DSB glass to slide right into the slot and make it fit tight. I have my router set up with my OG bit already installed on it and the height and everything adjusted. I'm going to router both short ends plus the factory cut on this board. That's going to give me 3 edges of that router, leaving the back flat in case we want to set it against the wall or hang it on the wall. That part's not going to be routed. Now that everything's been cut out, angles have been made, and the edges have been routed, I put it together for a little fitting, and surprisingly all my angles lined up perfect. I had really good, didn't have any gaps or anything in it. So now I'm going to move over to the sanding. I know the sanding is the boring part, so I'm going to do a little fast forwarding through here. It looks like I'm working a lot faster than I really am. What I start out with is my DeWalt orbital sander. I'm using 180 grit on it. I'm trying to get rid of any of the black marks from my table saw blade and any blemishes in the wood. I work all the edges with that really well, and once I get it cleaned up the way I like it, I got out my little hand block sander and I went a 220 grit. And with the 220 grit I was able to get it smoothed down a little finer and get it ready where I thought it was good for the finish. Now it's time to do a little cleaning. So I took my air blower and I blowed it all off, got all the dust and everything out of the way, trash off the table, that kind of deal. Once I get it all blowed off and clean, then the next step I'm going to do is take a tack cloth and wipe everything down really good with a tack cloth. Make sure there's no dust or anything left on the wood whatsoever before I start doing my staining. Once I was satisfied everything was clean, I actually went over into my staining, and I'm using an 8-ounce can of Minwax penetrating stain. It's less than 10 bucks, 6-7 bucks. Dries within 2 hours. It's a really good stain. I'm using a golden oak color. I really thought it brought that grain out in that pot, and I love the way it looked. I went ahead after I got it stained and let it dry good. I went ahead with a clear coat of a Minwax fast dry polyurethane. Just one coat on it just to get it going until I get everything assembled. To assemble it, I am using some Gorilla wood glue, just what I had, what I chose to use, and I'm fastening it together with my brad nailer. Now that I have the top pieces fastened together, I go ahead and get my glass and slide it into the groove. On my glass, I'm more of a breaker than a cutter, so I ended up going to a local business and had them make me a piece of glass 17 by 17 inches square and then cut it quarter to quarter diagonally. It fits perfect into the 2 shadow boxes since I'm making 2 of them at one time. On my base, right at 1.5 inch overhang on each side, and you'll notice I kind of take my fingers and squeeze it in to get it tight against the glass whenever I'm fastening it in. It fits really well and it gives you a good clean seat. Almost to the end, you get to see the finished product. I just want to take a moment to thank everyone for sticking through it and watching it. This is my very first production video I've ever made. I'm putting it on YouTube. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope you subscribe. Hope you give it a like. Let your friends, nothing else, get a good laugh at it. If you have any questions or anything, leave me any comments. If you didn't like it, get in the box and leave me a comment anyway. I did the best I could. Hope you enjoyed it.